All right, let's jump into the deep dive. You've handed us this really interesting stack of sources all about White Bear Meadery.
Yeah, a local Minnesota craft place.
Exactly. And we've got stuff here on their operations, their market position, customer feedback, the works.
Mm-hmm.
So our job today is basically to sift through this, pull out the key takeaways for you, and kind of give you the essence of what this place is all about.
A shortcut to understanding them? Like a deep dive into, well, ancient drinks meeting modern Minnesota.
Perfect. Let's get into it. What jumps out first?
Well, the foundation, I think, they started up in 2019. It's family-owned.
Sure.
And their mission seems pretty clear. Popularize mead, honey wine. They're mixing old traditions, that whole Viking connection, which really plays well here.
Right, Minnesota.
Yeah, with a big focus on local ingredients and, importantly, the customer experience itself.
And that experience piece really comes through in how they describe their main spot in Maplewood.
Oh, Minnesota's first mead hall.
Yeah. It's not just a bar. They've designed it for ambiance, right?
Mm.
Fireside seating, tables, but also a kid's corner.
Uh-huh. And that private room, Loki's lair, it makes it feel really accessible, like for families, too. More of a community space.
Totally. Building an experience, like you said. And the drinks themselves, that local focus is strong there, too.
Absolutely. I mean, mead is fermented honey, and they're using Minnesota-grown honey. That's the base.
And then adding other local stuff.
Right. Strawberries, blueberries, maple syrup from here, apples. They even call out specific local honey types like basswood.
Oh, interesting. Like giving the mead a sense of place.
Yeah.
A Minnesota terroir.
Exactly. It's a neat angle. They started with about, 7 core meads, but it sounds like the lineup changes, evolves.
Keeps things fresh.
Yeah. And they've got non-alcoholic options, too, like Sema honey, lemon, lime, clove, nutmeg, ginger. Fits the theme. Plus gluten-free, some simple food like Haggis pizzas, other drinks, merch, the usual taproom extras.
Okay, so they have the product, the space, but mead isn't, beer or wine for a lot of people. It's less familiar.
Right, so education seems key from these sources. They apparently chat a lot with people at the bar.
Talking about the honey, the flavors,
Yeah.
making it approachable for the uninitiated, as the material says.
Mm-hmm. And they make it easy to try. Free samples, flights, glass pours, bottles to go, multiple ways in.
Makes sense. Lowering the barrier to entry. So how do you actually get it? Obviously at the mead hall.
Yeah, direct sales there. But they also list distribution on their site, liquor stores, restaurants, Twin Cities, Mankato area.
Okay, so they're expanding reach. Any word on online sales?
The sources mention it, but say the website wasn't totally clear on how well that works. Something to keep an eye on, maybe?
Gotcha. But the distribution's a good sign. And it sounds like they work hard to make the mead hall itself a destination.
Definitely. It's positioned as a community hub, lots of events, weekly trivia, monthly D&D, makers markets, National Mead Day.
So it becomes a regular hangout spot, not just a place you visit once.
Exactly. It builds loyalty.
And looking at the business side, quickly founded 2019 private company. The sources confirm they are generating revenue.
That's important. And they've raised some capital, too. It looks like around $497K total, including a $100K debt round in early 2022.
So past the initial startup phase, it's a functioning business.
Right. Suggests some stability and investor belief. Which brings us to what people actually think. The customer feedback.
Yeah, this part was interesting. It's a bit of a mix, especially some of the earlier stuff.
With the Reddit comments.
Yeah, calling the mead good but not great, but also noting it's a young meadery. Fair point, maybe.
But what stands out is the praise for the people.
Oh, consistently. The owner, the staff, very cool, super patient, really nice. That comes through loud and clear.
And that's huge. Even if the product is still finding its absolute peak, that positive experience with the staff and the atmosphere builds, a strong connection. Untapped shows a decent rating, like 3.7 active check-ins.
Suggests a loyal following is building. People are even giving constructive feedback, like about the fireplaces being just for looks.
Right. They feel invested enough to comment. It seems like the great experience is creating this supportive community while the mead itself continues to develop.
Okay, so let's tie this together. What's the big picture from these sources?
Well, White Bear Meadery seems to be cleverly carving out its niche. They're using history, local sourcing, and maybe most importantly, building this really welcoming, family-friendly community hub. That mead hall experience is central.
And they're generating revenue, expanding distribution. It seems like a solid operation.
Yeah. And while maybe the mead itself is still on a journey, according to some feedback, the sources strongly suggest that stellar customer experience and community focus are really building a loyal base. People seem invested in seeing them succeed.
Which brings up a really interesting point for you, the listener, to think about. In today's crowded craft market, how much can creating that authentic, really engaging experience and community make up for, or maybe support, product refinement in those early years?
Yeah, how much does that vibe and connection really matter? Something to mull over next time you're checking out a local spot.